Hello Internet, and welcome back to the most inquisitive channel on YouTube, Life's Biggest Questions, the place where we can't help but keep our eyes open when faced with a relentless neck-snapping machine. What's going on, guys? As always, I'll be your host Jack Finch as we boot up the archives once again, demonstrate our authority as an O5 official, and curiously ask the question, what if SCP-173 was real? Fun fact actually, because many people commonly think that SCP-173 was ripped off from Doctor Who's Weeping Angels, first aired on the 9th of June 2007. But in fact, SCP-173 was the first ever skip created on the exports of 4chan and predated Doctor Who's episode by several months. In fact, it spawned the entire SCP canon, is the reason that we're even here discussing the possibilities of a terrifying fictional scenario and the consequences of a containment breach. Coincidence? Well, I'm not entirely sure, but the Blink episode actually gave us quite a credible insight into our hypothetical scenario. So let's learn a thing or two. Before we jump into that though, you know the job by now, guys. Make sure to hit that thumbs up button if you're a fan of this video, the SCP Foundation, or just LBQ in general. Go ahead and hit that thumbs up button as well as that subscribe box. You can stay up to date for the latest and greatest questioning uploads. On with the show. So what exactly is SCP-173, you may ask? Is it a hulking space beast summoned through a keyhole? Is it an indestructible, hateful lizard that just can't die? Well, no, it's a statue really. But sometimes the fear of the uncanny is far more terrifying than you think. SCP-173 is a Euclid-class object of unknown origin, and is interestingly classified as... Usually a skip of such destructive hostility would be Keter-class. But the difference here is the ease of its containment. It's a relatively easy process to deal with Euclid-class objects and shut away within their containment procedures. Or is it? 173 is a statue-like object constructed from concrete and rebar with traces of Krylon brand spray paint. In other words, it wouldn't look out of place in a graffiti exhibition. SCP-173 is animate and extremely hostile, despite appearances that may indicate otherwise. The object cannot move while within a direct line of sight, and thus, line of sight must not be broken at any time with the object. This is incredibly important. The Foundation's containment procedure is actually pretty straightforward and is essentially, seal it in a box and hope for the best. The object is reported to attack by snapping the neck at the base of the skull, or in more rare circumstances by means of strangulation. In the event of an attack, personnel are to observe Class 4 hazardous object containment procedures. You know, those ones. SCP-173 regularly secretes a strange reddish-brown substance in the area around it, which is commonly believed to be a combination of feces and blood. The origin of these materials are unknown, but by orders of the Foundation, the enclosure must be cleaned on a bi-weekly basis to keep the reddish-brown substance from building up. It is a commonly held belief in the Foundation that this substance are the beginnings of a second spawn of SCP-173, in an intentional attempt to replicate itself. Personnel who are assigned to the container on cleaning duty are instructed to alert one another before blinking, in an effort to constantly maintain a field of vision and thus negate the skip's line of attack. But well, actually we're lying to you, dear listeners, because special containment procedures for SCP-173 aren't as straightforward as we initially described. In fact, as recent revised entries have shown, an XK end-of-the-world scenario has already been brought about via the unknown actions of SCP-173. Remember that strange reddish-brown substance that we spoke about? Well, in one initial instance, SCP-173 appeared to multiply itself, producing 2 identical copies, resulting in the deaths of 2 D-class personnel. After being moved to separate cells, a separate multiplication event occurred, creating 4 copies of itself, labeled SCP-173-1 through 4, and the object being reclassified as Keter. Of course, this resulted in a further security breach, as an event like this was unprecedented in the Foundation's history, creating at least 61 copies of itself eventually, and eventually leading to over 500,000 civilian deaths across North America. This resulted in a mass media panic with hundreds of thousands of sightings alongside unprecedented pieces of evidence of the Foundation's existence. Major television news outlets had obtained clear video evidence of SCP-173 killing civilians, which led to the media providing instructions for avoiding an instant death. It is commonly theorized that SCP-173 utilizes a hive mind and intelligence that exponentially scales with the number of nearby copies. After the first copy had been created, the skip was twice as smart, and on and on and on they went. It is believed that the ultimate target was the O5 Council in a presumed takeover plot for domination of the Earth itself. Well, of course, I think I've already said too much, but remember, SCP-173 is a problem that has not been fully dealt with. The beacons are lit. Unfortunately, folks, that's all we've got time for in today's SCP-based video. Thanks for sticking around for this Foundation-approved message. If you've been a fan of this video, the SCP Foundation, or just LBQ in general, go ahead and give us a thumbs up. To carry on with your SCP questioning binge, make sure to hit that playlist floating shortly above. As per usual, I'm your host, Jack Finch. You've been watching Life's Biggest Questions, and until next time, take it easy.